All right. Good morning. It's Friday. It's noon. It's time for Blab About Wine. I am Jen. I am with Wine Antics. I am bringing this community of the lighter side of wine to Blab, to live streaming, to social media. And I am joined by Stub from Cork Envy.
Hi.
I am going to really quick tell you what I'm drinking because I don't want to forget because I'm horrible about that. I don't ask me to say the name because it's all in German. I will try very hard. Dr. Hildsmann dash Burger Wheeler. That's and I took German for years too. I'm horrible, but it's a 2014 dry Riesling. And I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I had about this much left after last night's blab about wine, and so I just I have it in my mug
Ooh, nice.
that actually does have wine in it.
Awesome.
So go ahead and let's see what you're drinking and tell us about you.
Bam. So I'm Stub from Cork Envy, and hopefully most of y'all know that. I do ridiculous videos about wine. And because you can take wine seriously without taking yourself too seriously, I've found.
Oh, amen.
I am drinking the Walsh family wine Sauvignon Blanc.
Dang you! How do you have that bottle?
Well, a fringe benefit of hosting a tasting last weekend.
Oh gosh, I'm so jealous right
We had
now.
a couple of these left over. This is made by Nate Walsh in Loudoun County. He's the winemaker at Sunset Hills Winery as well, and has his own label here. This wine is a little difficult to find. It is in a couple of wine shops in the Loudoun area, and it's in restaurants. And that is it, I believe. It may be on the tasting menu at another winery, which incidentally is not Sunset Hill. I think it's like the 50 West or something winery or something like that, or tasting room. But so difficult to find. I think if you can find it retail, it's about $35 or so, maybe. But don't hold me to that.
Oh my goodness!
But
Wow. And I can equally vouch for that Sauvignon Blanc. I need to get the Twitter or the Snapchat story up on my website, but like I was dying over it because it had so much citrus up front and
Yeah.
not. I want to say somewhere between like an orange and a lemon, so it had that bright citrus, and then it mellowed out on the back end, so it was like that perfect marrying between New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc
Yeah.
and the French.
It's definitely more in the French style. It's got a little bit of the creaminess and stuff on it, as kind of as you on the back palate a little bit. So it does hit you with that citrus up front, and then just sort of creaminess and deliciousness on the back end of it. And this bottle right now is actually a little bit too cold, so it's going to get better here in the next couple of minutes.
It'll kind of segue with us with social media and wine pairing.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get us started, and I'm gonna start with my top social media platforms that I use.
Okay.
And it's not really in ranking order, but these are my top three. I got to start with Facebook because Facebook has the most subscribers, so it is definitely the most popular. I think it was quoted to me like 1.6 billion users. Ridiculous. So because of its popularity, I paired it with champagne. Not only is champagne popular in flavor, in longevity, and also with just by its image and its name. I mean, people are trying to recreate champagne, and they can't. They have that niche. You can't call champagne or sparkling wine champagne unless it comes from the Champagne region of France. And so many people are trying to imitate it. It's kind of like Facebook for me.
Interesting. So so for Facebook, this is one I went really back and forth on a whole lot. Excuse me. But I decided that Facebook would be the Chardonnay of social media because of, as you mentioned, it is ubiquitous. Chardonnay is the most popular wine in the world. And it comes in all different flavors and styles. And I've gotten to a point when I pour Chardonnay for people in my home, I don't like to tell them I'm pouring Chardonnay because everyone has their very strict idea about what Chardonnay is or should be. And there are so many different styles. And I also think that people are getting So in that sense, with Facebook, everyone's kind of bitching and complaining about Facebook a little bit. Like, oh my gosh, Facebook, but everyone is still on it. And it's the same with Chardonnay. Everyone's like, oh, Chardonnay, I don't like Chardonnay, blah, blah, blah. But it's still the most popular wine in the world. So that's kind of how I came to that conclusion with that one. I cannot hear you, Jen. No.
It's because I muted it
There
when
we
I
go.
was typing.
All right.
I was muting it when I was typing. So I'm trying to be a good
All right.
host. But thank you. And I agree. Like, a lot of people don't like Chardonnay. I'm actually one of the people that will not choose a Chardonnay New World style.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it has a great portfolio complexity to it. But I have to expand my horizon to Old World because I hear that's where the jam is with Chardonnay.
Yeah, and you'll find like even here in the States, like Oregon, Chardonnays are trying to be made, or people are trying to make them more in the kind of French style. So you're not getting those big butter bombs to where, you know, and I think even California Chardonnays are getting away from that. At least the higher quality ones that aren't the bottom shelf at the grocery are getting away from that. It tastes like you put some grapes and sugar and a stick of butter in a glass and mashed it all together. Which I think I'm going to try at some point and compare it to a Chardonnay on video and see if there's any difference in flavor.
What do you
like? I'm actually going to take some grapes and a stick of butter
Oh,
and
okay.
sugar and muddle them in a glass and then compare it to an actual out of the bottle Chardonnay and see which one's better.
That is brave.
It may have to be a blind tasting because there'll be a bit of sediment. I'm not going to find that before I drink it or anything, but there we go.
That's very brave. I don't think I would do that.
Oh, come on.
No, I'd be like, that has floating particles of butter.
That's all right.
I don't know if I can do that.
Maybe I'll melt it a little bit first. I don't know, soften it.
Okay. We're done
Yeah.
now.
All right.
So my number 2 for social media and wine pairing is Twitter, of course. I mean, that's where the wine chats for me are happening, and this is all my opinion. So I spend a good amount of time on Tuesday going through various wine chats, and I super love it because of the engagement level about wine in Twitter. And I've had many followers come over with me on Blab and on Snapchat, so I can't ignore that platform. But because it's so social for me, I paired it with a rosé/blush. Now, I say these two things differently because I think that there's different people that approach Twitter like a rosé or like a blush. Like me, I treat it more like a blush. A little sweet, a little off-traditional, a little funny. So I'm kind of like that blush pairing with Twitter. Whereas there's some people that are producing amazing content on Twitter from a very, very rosé, traditional, and I don't want to say dry. I just say more traditional. And they're still building the wine community from that perspective as well. So Twitter, because of its social engagement with wine, is matched with rosé/blush for me.
So this one here, I picked a Malbec, more specifically Argentine Malbec.
Okay.
Because Twitter is a thing that people do. A lot of them know why they do it. Which is sort of the same thing with Malbec. Like, over the last, say, probably 4 or so years, the Malbec from Argentina has become a huge thing. And even non-wine people are like, oh my gosh, I love Malbec from Argentina.
Oh my God.
And that's just kind of what they do, what they like, because it was popular for a bit. And not that it's not amazing wines that are coming out of there, Mendoza, but at the same time, people are doing it. They don't know why. And I feel like that's what Twitter is. It's in very, very many times just a bunch of noise for the sake of noise and no real rhyme or reason to what's going on there in the Twitter sphere at large. So that's kind of why I went with that. And no clue about how this stuff you guys are.
Don't mind me as I'm taking a sip and taking pictures for Snapchat. Because this is all about social media. You got to get the social media in there. And as we get to the third one of our pairings, social media and wine pairings, If you have followers out here that love wine and would be engaged by this show, I really would appreciate share the last 30 seconds on Twitter or on Facebook and get the community growing here. I love this platform for that.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of going with my third one, where I actually was going to say Snapchat, because I'm really growing on Snapchat because of Blab and its forum, I think maybe I should pay homage. Gosh, I gotta say it 6 times. To Blab, and I actually did a pairing for Blab, and I paired it with a GSM.
Interesting.
Like Blab, it is lesser known, underrated. But if you get involved with it, it's a great blend.
GSM, Emily, is a Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre blend.
Mourvèdre blend, yeah.
Made everywhere, but basically is Rhone.
Yeah.
Rhone Reds.
Yes. And because of that, it is like it's a blend, and Blab is a blend. It's a blend of people coming from different backgrounds and sharing their stories just like this. And it's underrated. People don't know about it. You'll also see it on a label as a GSM. Who wants to pick up a GSM? Like, you have to ask the question, what does that stand for? It might be a little less, inviting from a novice consumer. So highly recommend give Blab a try and give the GSM a try.
So what's odd is I didn't think, hey, do one for the social media thing that you're actually going to be on.
Neither did Bobby. Don't worry.
I do actually appreciate your reasoning, and I'll go ahead and piggyback on that a little bit and say I agree. I would say a Rhone and a red Rhone, and I think because a lot of people don't know those red Rhones, I think when you find a great one, you're also very willing and want to share it with others, so you can show them the beauty of what you're doing there. So there's that. I would say to whoever said they feel low class right now, I'm sitting in a garage drinking wine at noon. So
yeah, and I'm drinking it out of a coffee mug.
Right. So
this does contain wine. So how highbrow do you need to be around here?
Exactly.
I'm just saying. So don't feel intimidated by wine. Like, we're doing this for a reason. Pairing wine that we know, bringing that knowledge to you guys, and pairing it with social media, where everybody has some type of experience with social media, whether it's, just at the Facebook level or, in La La Land with Snapchat like I am.
Exactly. All right, Jen, what's up next on your social media there?
Well, that was my third one. You want to go again, since you did.
No, I'm saying you have another one. What's the next social media platform?
Okay, so my third most popular platform I am on is Snapchat, and from a marketing perspective, I hear everybody talking about Snapchat as the platform to tell a story. And that is how Snapchat is being used from a marketing perspective. So for me, how do I tell a story with wine, or how are stories told with wine? And for me, that's a Cabernet Sauvignon. And now I would even say a California Cabernet Sauvignon, because some of the best stories happen after somebody's been drinking a high alcohol Cabernet Sauvignon from California, like your good 15%, big alcohol. Oh my gosh. So some of the best stories happen that way. And I think that it's pretty popular, and that a lot of stories kind of focus around a Cabernet Sauvignon. Like, it is well known as a California varietal internationally. So there's a lot of stories about Cabernet Sauvignon.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to agree with you. I remember an afternoon of drinking a lot of California Cab at a winery a couple years back. And during that experience, I got to see a goat ride a llama. It was pretty awesome.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't know that they had been drinking, but
the goat or the llama?
But there was a goat. There were goats and llamas on this property. So the owner of the winery would put some feed on top of a post on the fence for the llama, and then hold some hay up over the llama, and the goat would jump on the llama to get to the hay. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then the llama like kind of didn't really care. It was awesome. So yeah. I'm going to go with that story. So for Snapchat, I really, really, really struggled with this one, but I am going to say that is a red burgundy, like one or two red burgundies. And I'll say this because generally people who appreciate those and are willing to pay for those and are willing to take the patience to wait for them are older or have more experience with wine. And I feel like older, more experienced people in life are not using Snapchat.
That is not true. That is not true. I mean, stop that.
Have you seen the memes about someone over 40 trying to learn Snapchat from their kid? Like I do. I mean, I don't know. My impression is that is a younger medium, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
maybe I need to get on it and see. I mean, since I'm a young man myself.
You're like 21, so you need to be on there. No, and that's true. Like that's how Snapchat has kind of been given the stigma over years that only young people are using it. It's because it's quickly disposable and those pictures go away supposedly. But they've changed the format of Snapchat now, where you can really do a lot. You can create a story, you can save those pictures, you can save the video, you can multi-purpose that content. So like all the stuff that I took from the Fanny Beck wine tasting experience, I downloaded those to my phone. I can merge them all together, and when I get to it, create that story on my website, all about it. So it's getting out in real time, and it's getting out in multi-purpose land. So from a marketing perspective, there is an older contingent of people and players now that they learn that they can make money on it.
All right. That
are using Snapchat to their advantage.
Okay. Well, there we go then.
I know. Well, it's only when you get on there and give it a try. Not that I'm here to upsell Snapchat. I'm just saying. No. But nice. It's a little obsessive. It's taking over my day.
Awesome.
And Emily knows that. Emily's here from Emily Faith is here from Snapchat. She's got some amazing content out there. Yes, awesome. So I did Snapchat. You did Snapchat. Let's see what else I got. All right. So this is one of my more PG-13. And when I approached this with Bobby yesterday, she kind of it's not Tumblr. Don't worry, it's not my analogy for Tumblr, because I've been saving that for the direct messages. Like if you want to know my opinion of Tumblr and social media pairing, you have to come find me on Snapchat. Like follow me on Snapchat. I will send you the direct message. I will tell you my opinion of Tumblr. But right below Tumblr is Periscope. And you've watched me on Periscope, and I think you've watched the engagement that I get on Periscope. I personally don't feel like the wine community is quite on Periscope. If you're not doing amazing things like what Mariana is doing in Spain, doing the tastings and the tourings of the countryside, which really brings a great audience. For me, who's trying to just put out content there, informative content, there isn't a big wine community. But there's a big creeper community out there. It's a little weird. Like I call it the weird one. And because of that, I matched it with my German Riesling that I'm tasting it. And this is not insulting to German Riesling. I only consider it the weird one because a dry German Riesling from an American perspective is weird. We have been marketed this sweet, like the only thing that comes out of Germany is this Riesling that's super sweet all the way to almost to dessert. And when we get a dry one in America, people have this preconceived notion that it's going to be sweet. So it's a little weird when you get a dry one. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There are creeps out there.
That's interesting. So I've not actually done a Periscope myself. I've just jumped on other people's Periscopes. And I've tried, obviously, I enjoy what you do. I enjoy what Mariana does. But yeah, it's a weird thing. It feels very voyeuristic to me, especially when if you're like, hey, how are other people using this? So you hit a button and you're like, let me watch let me watch this woman do yoga on the beach in California, or let me watch this dude walk his dog through the woods. Like, people are doing ridiculously crazy things. I'm like, why are we watching this? And why do we feel okay about it? I don't know. I think the way that it interacts and that it goes back and forth. So having that discussion about this, not once again, had some hard times trying to come up with funny things. I'm going to say, let's go White Zen for that then. Because why does it exist? Why do we have it? But every now and again, people order it. It's got to be on the menus. It has to be on the shelf. But we all feel kind of badly about it, that it just even exists. How's that? Just because of that voyeur creepy thing.
Just because of that voyeur creepy thing. And I think that kind of matches with the stereotype that White Zen has gotten over the years too. Yeah, I actually started out with that White Merlot and White Zen. Like, that was my bridge. I know it's horrible. I'm telling bad stories about myself, but moving over from like.
I'm just saying that because of the creep factor that Jen brought up here. I actually enjoy it very much, although I don't enjoy White Zen. But yeah, I do. I don't mind Periscope at all, actually.
No, but it
feels a little weird to me sometimes.
It is a little weird. Yeah. Like, a lot of people, like, we're getting in the comments saying we like to watch. We just like to watch, and that's perfectly okay. But there's some disruptiveness in the watching that's happening, and that's what makes it the weird one for me. Like, you know where I'm going with this. I'm trying not to say it, but there's a creep factor. Yeah. And I know Emily knows it too, because she's getting on board with Periscope. Yeah. Bobby made it! Yay! Nice. So I'm gonna lock the seat for her if she wants to come on in.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're welcome, Bobby, to come on in. We are recording, and we've gone through about 4 different pairings right now. Hey, I'll call Del Monte. Trying to multitask. No, that's fine.
I want to see your feet. That's wow. See what is that? That is odd.
Wow. Yeah. So they want me to open Bob's. That's what people want me to do on Periscope. I'm not gonna do it. This is about wine. It isn't about all of this.
Right.
You'll get there.
Yeah, completely different platform if you want to get into the other there.
No. You gotta follow me on Snapchat if you want to know what my NC-17 rating is.
Nice. Cool. All right. So we have any other social media platforms there?
Oh, I do.
Let's do it.
So Google Plus. I know, right?
Okay, maybe that.
I'm getting to Instagram.
White Zen for that one, but go ahead.
No. See, you could follow my train of thought with this. With the wine community, I find that Google Plus is for those. They're for wine nerds. They really are. Like, if you want to get into an in-depth conversation, you want to get some great articles, you want to follow somebody that's super passionate about it, that's where you go. You'll go to Google Plus. And I'm not talking about Google Hangouts, because that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. So I kind of really matched it with a very specific Bordeaux, like Grand Cru Bordeaux, very specific, very niched, very traditional, into the weeds. So that way, that's how I paired it with. And if I would have thought of a chateau, I would have gone so far as to do that.
Interesting.
I don't know how much engagement or how much activity you do on Google Plus to do a pairing.
I like your theory as far as maybe kind of more of the really super geeky people or whatever on there, and being a Bordeaux. I thought about the Google Plus. I didn't come up with anything for it because it doesn't seem like anyone uses it to me.
Yeah.
I've had people say, "Hey, I'm on Google Plus." I'm like, okay, well, that's great. I am too, by virtue of having a Gmail account,
or YouTube.
What have I ever done with that? Yeah, I mean, like, no one does anything with it, in my opinion. So let's call that the Miller Lite wine pairing. It's not even the same thing. You want some wine? No, have a cheap everyday beer instead.
But wouldn't that be like a really niched beer? Like, yes, it's out of the category, but wouldn't it be like a really niche beer? Because like
Oh,
nobody's
maybe
there.
so. Yeah,
Instead of
that's
like the Miller Lite where everybody knows what it is and it's
yeah.
just
But if
the
we're talking
mainstay.
about the social media versus the wine stuff, just
Gotcha.
the fact that it's a beer is like, it's kind of not even in the same category in my mind.
Gotcha. I will
There's
give you that.
that.
All right, I will
Like
do.
geocaching and strategy games combined. That's hilarious.
Oh, jeez.
And that's just to figure out how to log on to it. Yeah.
Don't even get me with that Google Hangouts on air crap. I cannot figure that out to save my life. And even though the Squirrel Suite, who's a friend of both of ours, does amazing shows and has been doing amazing shows for like the last 2 years on Google Hangouts, the reach is nowhere near what you're getting with just this.
Yeah, I think that they're getting their reach after the fact with the recordings and putting those up, though, more than the live events, I believe, with them. And I'm going to have to figure that out in a couple of weeks because I think I'm going to be on with them. So
yeah, and you will see. It's a great format. It's just not getting there with the consumers, with the people that care about wine. So I have one other one, and that is Instagram. And Bob, let me tell. I hope Bobby can get on here because she had so many to match with Reddit and with YouTube that I didn't even think about. So I matched Instagram with Pinot Noir.
Okay.
All right. So, and I say with Instagram on about wine is that Instagram is everybody's doing it. Like everybody and their brother has an Instagram account and is like posting amazing photos with an amazing background in Greece and drinking their wine, and it's super trendy. And I feel that's the way Pinot Noir is now. It's really trendy, really popular. A lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon. It's everybody's doing it.
Huh. Man, that's actually kind of that is interesting. I was going to say Cabernet because it is also kind of ubiquitous and there's so many different styles the world over. But man, you've got me with this Pinot because people are, I think, jumping on board with Pinot. I know like Pinot production in Oregon has just skyrocketed over the last couple of years. And not that it's like the hipster cool thing to do, but people are like, we love Oregon Pinots and they make great Pinots. Let's go make Pinot there. And why does Willamette Valley need another Pinot producer? Well, because they grow great grapes and make great Pinots. But, do we need more Pinots in the Russian River Valley? Maybe not. That's just my opinion stylistically, although I tasted some great ones from Russian River Valley last night that I'll talk about later. So yeah, I don't necessarily. Should I say it slowly?
No, it doesn't make it better.
As I stare into the camera.
So we have a question from Emily. And
what we got?
Says, what would you match an ice wine with?
As far as social media stuff?
We'll do social media and do food if you can.
Both. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing.
I actually find ice wine very hard to pair with because it's akin to my early days with drinking super sweet wine. So traditionally, you're supposed to pair it with a light dessert. I think maybe fruit with a little fresh cream on top would be an amazing combination food-wise with social media. So what is ice wine? It's late harvest. It's super sweet. It's rare. It's expensive. So LinkedIn. I'm trying to
good choice.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe LinkedIn. Expensive, rare, a late. I just don't think it's well integrated with social media. It's there for you to get a job.
Yeah.
I feel like.
All right, I like the thinking with the social media. I'll second with the dessert thing with the food. I like the little dab of cream, but maybe on like a little kind of cookie biscuit or something. The fruit, I feel like sometimes will interfere with it. I know that that's a suggestion, but something with cream. But generally, when I have an ice wine or something like that, I like to just enjoy it as maybe the drink after dinner and not necessarily pair it with anything else, because it is so concentrated and is so rich generally.
Yeah.
So there's that.
She doesn't agree with my assessment with LinkedIn.
Of the LinkedIn.
I know it's not sweet. I know LinkedIn is not sweet. But what social media platform really is sweet?
Yeah, it's more. I think more what if what you're saying is it's a later thing, like the late harvest. I love that. That was great. Yeah. And the fact that it is a little, it's something. It's a little more rare. People know it exists, but they don't buy it because it is more expensive. It's whatever. So I thought that was really good, John.
Oh, but I mean, Emily mentioned that it's kind of stuffy. Well, some people treat their ice wines very stuffy. They take it very seriously, especially in Germany. It's very expensive. It's idolized. It's put on that platform for their product coming out of that country or staying in it. So I'm digging myself a better case for this pairing with LinkedIn and ice wine. Thank you, because I did not have one for LinkedIn.
That's good, because I was actually about to ask you what you thought, how you went with LinkedIn, maybe.
Bobby had a really good one. I kind of just went with the most popular ones and thought I was awesome for remembering Blab.
Right. Nice. So do you have any more that you thought of?
So I kind of left the question mark with Facebook Live.
Okay.
And it's because I don't have a heck of a lot of experience with Facebook Live. And I wanted to kind of put that out to the group and say, where do you think you would go with Facebook Live? It's new, it's emerging, but it's got a huge backbone to it. It's got the power of Facebook. It's also taking all the best things that are happening in live streaming platforms and merging it and making it part of their own. And if we can't come up with something, this may be that bridge to the audience participation when the seats are open and we're not recording. But have you had any experience with Facebook Live that you could do a pairing?
I have not, actually. I've seen a few people post something going through my feed saying, hey, so-and-so's live. And I just, at that time didn't watch what they were doing. But I think it's like anything. I mean, it's sort of Periscope on steroids, I think. Yeah. To some degree, because it does have that backing of Facebook that is, a great platform and well thought out and basically works when it needs to work all of the time, with very few instances. As far as the live and the bandwidth on that may become an issue at some point, but I don't know. Comments aren't good enough for back and forth conversation. Yeah, I haven't used it, so I don't know.
I've only used it once. And let's just think about this from a pairing standpoint, just like what we did with the ice wine. So we have super new. We have has a strong backbone, so has a great foundation, and is taking all of the other social media platforms and trying to adapt. So it's making what's existing better. Could you pair a wine with those three concepts?
New, big backbone, and what was the third one?
Better backbone, and it's improving upon what's existing. Mariana says Cava. And Sarita says Bordeaux. I mean, yes, Bordeaux definitely has the backbone, but it's not new. Bordeaux is, I don't think Bordeaux is new.
Well, Bordeaux is not new, but what if you went with do not know proper Cava? And that is very true as well. People do not know a lot about Cava.
Oh, Emily might have it with Moscato. Though neither one of us really like it. It is traditionally rooted in many different countries. It is new and popular. Like everybody and their brother is loving a bubbly Moscato. And it's blending marketing and its foundations to kind of have this new, really popular product.
I like it. I am liking the Cava though, the more I think about it.
Okay.
You get some people in there. You introduce some people to it. They say Cava, they don't exactly even know what it is. Like,
that's true.
And like, yeah, here's this great bubbly wine that is generally less expensive than, other bubbly wines, and is delicious. Has a nice acid backbone. You can pair it with foods. You can just drink it and enjoy with friends, or drown your sorrows. If something bad happened to you that day, I guess, by yourself. And it's not super high alcohol, just like bubbly. So it's not a bad choice there.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. And I think that's a good question to, like, when we open this and like people come in and share how you feel Facebook Live relates, because it's so new, though. Like, everybody kind of has a different experience, and we're all kind of trying to figure out, go along with it. So we're getting towards the top of the hour, but I want to close out with you telling me about your grand tasting experience. Oh my God!
Well, I had one more. Well,
you have one more?
I did have one more, and I wanted your opinion on it.
All right. Well, then, yes, do that, and then go right in.
If you didn't want to do Tumblr, I don't know that you're going to want to discuss Tinder.
Oh, no. You do Tinder. Go ahead.
Now, I have no personal experience with Tinder because I don't really need it. But I was really trying to think of what that would be. And I settled on PetNat. And for those of you who don't know, PetNat is a generally Pinot Noir, and it's bubbly. Oh. So it's kind of a fun little thing. It stands for Pétillant Naturel, which is basically making a sparkling wine in a natural method. So I went with that. So it is never going to be the best wine you have. There are some that'll be better than others, just like all of them. And it's kind of fun. You're thinking, hey, why am I drinking a bubbly, just straight up bubbly, kind of slightly sweet Pinot Noir? Yeah. It's not like, Pinot and Champagne. It's like a sweet, fuzzy, the bubbles are kind of purple, so you enjoy it while you're doing it, much like Tinder, and you often hate yourself afterwards.
Oh, that twisted the ending I wasn't expecting.
Bam. There we go.
I have never, that didn't happen at our tasting on Saturday. Is that what he did? No, that was from Virginia, our bubbly that we had.
No, that was
Chamberson.
That was a Chamberson Sunset Hills, yeah.
So then I can't say that I have ever had a
PetNat. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's going to be, personally, I think it's going to be kind of the next big thing. A lot of, it's starting to happen a little bit in Oregon that people are making them. It may take a little while, but I think it's going to be the next kind of like hipstery thing that comes out that's pushed, because they're also generally going to be pretty. I think Tinder's going to take off.
No opinion.
Wow. Yeah. No. None. No comment on that. You're just baiting me, and I'm drinking in the middle of the day. You can't do that.
Oh, well, that's a good side about Tinder, like somebody actually meeting somebody and having a nice relationship. That's not usually the stories you hear about Tinder.
Well,
but that's a great analogy. I did not even go with Tinder.
It was literally the first one I thought of, because I thought, oh, that'll be the funniest one, right? So I kind of went with that. So there's that.
Okay.
That's all I have on the social media stuff. And yeah, it's been a fun week trying to think about this stuff, though, and kind of get it together.
Yeah, that's the half of the fun about this, is thinking about a topic that's, a little bit different for wine. And
exactly.
I love spending the week thinking about something new with wine. Tell us the grand experience.
So last night, the Rib and I, along with another friend, attended the Wine Spectator Grand Tour tasting here in Washington, D.C. This is held every year in 3 cities. Typically, it's come to D.C. every other year as one of the cities. It's usually in Vegas, and then the other 2 cities will vary. So every year it's been in D.C. We have gone. It is, I'm going to say, exclusive tasting because of the cost. Mm-hmm. This year I think it was $325. That's
why I didn't go.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is when the first one we attended, I think it was $200, and then it was like $220. And then this one I think even last year it was like $220 or $225, because it was happening in Dallas while I was visiting. So I considered going there. But here's the cool thing about it. You get, it's over 200 wines. They're all Wine Spectator 90+ point rated wines, which is pretty cool. Regardless of what you think about Wine Spectator ratings or this or that. And there are a few that if you tasted or you saw that they were there and knew what the wines were, you're like, that's why people are upset about the scoring system sometimes. But the cool thing about it is there's a lot of wine there that you would not get the chance to taste. Not only because, for most of us at some point, budget is a consideration, but also because I'm looking at some of these wines in this book here, and it's telling you, 60 cases of this wine was imported from overseas.
Wow.
So, and where's that being imported? Probably to New York. Yeah, right here. Here's a Riesling, first one, 60 cases imported. I just opened my book to see that. So you're getting some smaller production stuff that is well rated, and you wouldn't maybe necessarily get the chance to taste otherwise. So it's really cool. So the neat thing about this event, attending with other people, is basically once the doors open, I say goodbye to everyone.
I don't know you right now.
I think the wife and I actually tasted one wine together, and it was just because we got to the same table at the same time. Imported from wherever, whether it be France, Germany, Italy, any places. Like there's such small wines, or like I said, wines that you wouldn't otherwise get to taste. So I tasted 42 wines. There are 3 different halls. The champagnes and whites were set up very well. The reds and the pinots were set up well. But then when you got over to the Bordeaux, they had like Bordeaux's next to Napa Cab, so it was a little difficult to sort of taste your way up as far as palate fatigue. But I got to 42 tables, tasted 42 wines, which was really awesome of the 200. And it was just a fun time. It's a cool thing. I think originally this is more of an industry type event. So, and I will also say, and I don't know if it was the cost, I don't know if it was the time or whatever, it seemed way less. There were way fewer people there this year than there were 2 years ago when it was here in DC.
Well,
so it was a little easier.
Was last year on the weekend? Because this was a Thursday night.
No, it's always been, the ones that we've attended have always been during the week. We just waited in line a really long time even to get in.
Yeah.
The last one that was here. And it seemed like there were a lot of consumers going. We're in the DC area. People don't mind spending a couple $100 to go taste wine for 3 hours.
Yeah.
They like wine because they order at a restaurant, but maybe they're not super serious. And whatever. I mean, pay your money and go. That's great. But the first couple of times, like it's a lot of industry people there, whether it be buyers, wine directors, somms, so it's a cool event and you can meet some cool people, even just sitting around tasting if you want to. So, it was pretty fun. And I don't even have a wine of the night because number one, I tasted over 40. So,
at some point, just
it was pretty cool.
It's all delicious.
No, it's a really neat thing. And if you really, really do enjoy wine, and this comes anywhere near you, they do 3 nights a year in the spring. And that's it. And so next year, this will not be in DC. I think they were going to New York. I think it was Vegas, New York, and DC this year.
Yeah.
So, odd things. I think they've been in New York. It's a cool event. It really is. If you're a super wine geek, it's a really neat event. A lot of the winemakers from overseas, especially, are here. It's pretty cool. So you get to talk to them, or they're very direct reps or someone that works for the winery. So, and then in some instances, you're talking to the local distributor because guess what? You're going to pour our wines at this thing here. But even those people, they know the wine pretty well. And even people that there was guys like, hey, my buddy's the distributor here, and he's got 3 wines, so I know enough about wine and know how to talk about this that he asked me to come pour. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So, but everyone seems pretty knowledgeable about the wines because they're either directly related to or trying to sell. And I did meet a young woman who works with the Rhone here in DC, the Rhone Wine Alliance, or I can't remember the exact name of it. And we got to talking, and she's like, "Oh, I know you. I've seen all about that Rhone video you've done. I've sent the Rhone over." So it's pretty cool. So there we go.
Well, awesome. That definitely sounds like you had an amazing time. And I may do it. The next time it comes around to DC, I may do it.
Yeah.
And I may be at the point where $300 to taste 42 better, higher end wines may be worth it for me.
Right.
But at this junction right now, it's just like, I'm just going to have to live vicariously through stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. And I will say the Total Wine little club that they have sent an email and gave us like a 20% discount. So it ended up only cost us $260, which was awesome. So yeah, it was worth going. It was a good time.
Awesome. And Bobby made it on.
There we are.
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I've been on calls since 8 o'clock this morning, and so I've been up since 5 trying to get all my stuff ready for these calls. So I'm just like,
Nice. and we stayed up really late on here.
I know.
Drinking like about a line. Or just a smidge left for today.
I know.
So you've heard most of what we've said. I think if you want to hit your highlights and talk about any of the gaps that we missed, like your social media overall, your Reddit. I don't know.
You want me to tell you my favorite from yesterday?
Well, yeah, do whatever you want to highlight, and then hit some gaps like Reddit and social media overall. Like we didn't even touch those two.
No, we didn't. I think with Reddit, what I was saying, we don't use Reddit very much for work. So with Reddit, I was talking about how it's in terms of like social media, it's a popularity contest. And so that's when I brought up that instead of pairing it with a wine, that I would pair it with a magazine like the Wine Spectator or, Wine Enthusiast or something like that, because it's constantly talking about being, everyone's in competition in terms of what's the best, where's the best place to purchase it, who's the best, when, and all, those types of things. So in terms of like social media, I paired it with more of a magazine, more of a, trying to get the word out and trying in competition. And so that's what I think of when I think of Reddit.
And we even debated which magazine.
And I really Wine Enthusiast.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Wine Enthusiast is one of the better ones because I think it's more consumer friendly.
I think so too. And I mean, we get them all. And we did say wine and food though too, because of the whole pairing and everything like that. So I do agree with that one. I like Wine Enthusiast because I think that it compares wine that I would actually purchase that is available, for someone that is on every budget regardless, and kind of shows you that you can have great wine and you don't have to pay a fortune for it. There's amazing wine that you can buy at, your local grocery store, opposed to, you don't have to pay $150 for, an amazing bottle of wine. I think that's why I really like that one.
Awesome. Well, yeah.
Okay.
That makes complete sense. I have no response to that. That's amazing.
And what did you do? You're big on Facebook and Twitter, right? Like those are your bigger platforms for military savings.
Yeah. Those are my two main ones, is Facebook and Twitter. And so I still have my notes. See, good. Yeah, with Facebook, so do I. I know. I'm like, so I know. With Facebook, what I said, I don't know, this one was funny because Facebook is our main platform for social media for My Military Savings. And so when I think of Facebook, I think of it in terms of it's undecided. Like it never can decide what it wants to do. They're constantly changing their algorithm. They're constantly changing what things they're putting on it. Everything's changing. And when it comes to people on Facebook, they're constantly changing. They never can keep their Facebook profile the same. They're constantly changing their mind. They're going to put this, they're going to put that. And then nothing's decided on there. Everything's constantly changing. So for the wine pairing, I came up with rosé because rosé can never decide if it's a white or a red. So I put it as undecided because to me, I think of rosé as undecided. It doesn't know, what it wants to do. So Facebook doesn't know what it wants to do. Either Facebook itself is changing in terms of the company, or the people on Facebook are always changing, and nobody knows what they want to do on there. And if another platform is changing, Facebook is going to change, and that's how I think of rosé.
Why laughing?
Because we've had this discussion, so we've shared our opinions, and so now
3 hours.
For 3 hours,
that's crazy.
We're just here, like waiting to see your reaction on these things.
The changing thing with the rosé, I understand they can't decide if it's white or red, but then the only thing I would argue on that part very specifically on the wine side of things is you get like a rosé from Provence. Like that is nothing but a rosé. That's all it wants to be.
Okay.
It is, it's made to be this, get the flavors of the red fruit a little bit without going overboard. So you get this lighter wine that's easier to drink in a warmer time or a warmer climate. So, and that's the only thing I would argue about the wine. I love the thinking on the social media part of it, though. So I can't really speak to that. But the wine part, like there are some very specific rosés that are that know exactly what they are, and just because they're a little bit in between of a straight up red and a straight up white, like I don't know that means that they're in this weird play. They're kind of in their own area.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all I would say about the wine part of it. I love the reasoning for the pairing though, and the whole with the Facebook thing.
So you agree with that? All right.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I'm reading comments here as well.
Yeah, I know. It's a back and forth situation. It's undecided.
It's nuts.
Yes. Yes. And then with Twitter, what I came up with is, because I took a different spin on the whole social media thing, because I'm a very emotional person. So I took it all in an emotional way. I know. Everything's emotions with me. I'm not logical. I'm very emotional. And so, which works out with my husband because he's logical. But but I know. But Twitter, what I was saying is Twitter is always, it's very hot. It's what's hot. It's changing every second. And with Twitter, I think of Twitter as the number one news breaking source. When something happens, it breaks on Twitter before it breaks on anything. When Whitney Houston passed away, it is a proven fact that it broke on Twitter before it broke on any other news source. Everyone on Twitter knew before anything else. And that's a big thing. Yeah. And so what I came up with, this was pretty interesting, and my husband kind of helped me out with this one since he's the wine guru.
Perfect.
But everything's being reused on Twitter because everybody's reusing stuff. They're retweeting, and from a social media standpoint, you almost can up your analytics, and you also can up your reach if you can retweet stuff, because it almost gets you more and it helps you to move up if you can retweet other people's stuff. So what we came up with is I came up with a South American red table grape. And the reason is because when you can reuse it, and you can it can be rebottled, cheap, like brought over cheap. So like if you have a Merlot, it has to be, or it has to be so much of that grape to call it that kind. But if in order to keep it cheap, you can put that South American grape as a filler, which makes it a cheap, but it doesn't make it but it still keeps it that amazing wine. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's cheaper to bring that South American red table grape over here and use it as a filler. And so it's kind of like a reusable thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how I got that? I
do. That's way more thought than I put into that.
I told you. I'm Twitter's social. Let's make it rosé.
Right.
I told you I'm very emotional, so I totally that's the thing with me is I take things like I have to, when it's this, and I have to make it like this. Right. Like I'm not logical. Like logically, somebody would have been like, boom, like you, done. It's like me, I'm like, well, let's do this and let's go like this all the way around and then get back here.
Interesting.
Well, you confuse Mariana.
Cool.
So try to summarize that in 140 characters. Go.
I know. Yeah. I know. That's not going to work out.
So what you're saying is that it's widely dispersible, quickly added to make another product a better product,
yes,
a filler.
Yes,
and that's kind of how you perceive Twitter.
Yes, it's a quick filler, and but it's still good because so you can add it like with the South American grapes, with the grapes here, you can add it in as a filler. Like you can use 49 and 51, and you can add it in, and it's still a quality product, but you're using that filler to make a quality product, so you have half and half. So it's like the retweet with your tweet. Come together to make a quality product.
Yes, a better strategy, Twitter strategy.
Yes, there you go.
Yay! So I hope that explained it, Mariana, a little bit better.
I kind of went around the
like we're gonna like here, we're gonna creep around here, and then maybe we'll come back.
Yeah.
So I wanted at least to talk about how you paired social media with Beaujolais Nouveau.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
And my husband helped
right?
Yeah, my husband helped me out with that one too, because I had honestly never even heard of this. And I told him, I said, okay, so help me out with this one. I said, I want to pair social media in general, every platform across the board. I want to pair it with a wine. So my husband came up with the, which I apparently don't say it correctly, the Beaujolais Nouveau, because it comes out once a month or once a year. It's like a once in a year thing. It's a very, it's a very sought after product that many people want. It's not, it depends. It can be expensive, but it can also be cheap depending on which one you buy. And it means something, the name means something else. So there's more to it than what is, on the surface, if you will. So you have a name that means something else. And then there's more to it. You got to dig into it. So you really have to understand the full products. Like if I just told you that name, like when he just told me, the Beaujolais Nouveau, I was like, what? So but I didn't understand it. And with social media, if you just say Snapchat, people are like, what? Like they don't understand what it is. You really have to play with it and you have to understand it and you have to really get a feel for it. And so like with the wine, my husband said, you really have to try it and you have to really taste it and then pair it with other things and find out what you think it pairs with for yourself to make it taste good. Or he said, because he said some people will think of it as to pair it with a meat, or some people say it pairs good with a dessert or some, he said, so you've got to try it. And he said, but some people also, because it only comes out once, will buy it by like the truckload because it's like their absolute favorite wine.
And they jump on board.
Yes. So that's how some people jump on board and then some people don't. And he said also it just depends on, because sometimes people will try it and they're like, no, I'm done. And so it flops like a tumbler. And then some people try it and they're like, I'm in love with this. I'm buying it. So I have enough for the entire year. Do you see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
I've never had this wine. I can honestly say I've never heard of it until he said this. So now we will be trying it. He's tried it. He likes it. And when he said it, I was like, oh, so it's really expensive. And he's like, no. So he had to explain the whole entire thing to me because he's the wine guru. I was the arborist before we met. So so he had to explain it to me and he showed it to me. And, he was showing me, no, you can buy it for like this really cheap or you could get it here. But it was like explaining the whole thing to me. And I'm like, that is social media. Like that's what social media is, because it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss platform.
That's interesting. I typically don't like the Beaujolais Nouveaux. So Beaujolais Nouveau, for those of you who don't know, it is the first wine that is made from the Beaujolais harvests every year, and they're released in the same year. So like that wine is basically finished and immediately bottled. And they use it for the celebration of the harvest being over while they're actually aging their higher quality wines. It is a very young wine. So it is released, I believe it's the third Thursday of November every year. So here in America, the way they ship it, it is on the shelf that third Thursday. If you're here in the States, it is meant to be consumed very soon. Like if you let that sit past February, it's probably too long, quite honestly. And for my money, even in great vintage years, and I love Cru Beaujolais. I think they're amazing. You get this nice chalky texture to them. You get some nice fruit. You get nice spice. They pair beautifully with meats. They're amazing wines. And even the really nicer ones compared to, say, their Bordeaux or Burgundy counterparts are really good. And that Gamay grape is just amazing that most of these wines are made from. But the Beaujolais Nouveau, I don't know. To me, every year after year, it tastes like Circus Peanuts candy. If anyone remembers what that tastes like. It's kind of that fakey. You get a little orange banana, little sweets in there. So kind of that orange banana, a little bit of sweet, and almost artificially sweet. That's what they come out to me like. That said, I know I don't like them. Year after year, I buy a couple of bottles. Because of the tradition of it, and taste them and pour them in my garage here, and they go away very quickly. So I don't mind spending the $8 or $10 on a couple of bottles of those and letting them go. But interesting.
I think it actually does. Just from what you're talking about, number one, it's meant to be consumed It's bottled quickly, so it's packaged up quickly for social media, totally as a whole. It's meant to be consumed and used right away. It is kind of the celebration, like I can't even say that. Let me not say that. Let's see how else. It is. Yeah, I think I'll stick with consumed, packaged up quickly, consumed, is off the shelf so quickly, as it's bottled and produced. These are all for me kind of highlights for social media as a total.
Okay.
I hope that's a little bit more.
Sounded very Tinder specific to me, but I don't
know. Oh, so instead of social media as a whole, he's found another pairing with Tinder. Great.
Yeah. No. You said packaged up quickly, meant to be, used off the shelf immediately. There you go.
Doesn't last long. Yeah. Jeez, look what I
did. Once again, I'm drinking in the middle of the day. You can't throw these softballs at me like that.
So okay, we've gone past the hour, and I do want to still open up the seat, but I want to thank you, Stub, for coming in,
no problem.
Definitely Bobby. And as we leave, I want you to do a little quick introduction of yourself, Bobby, because we didn't get to do that, and then we'll sign off.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
I know. I'm a social media marketing manager. I work for, it's called Be Big Communications, and it's an omni-channel marketing firm. Under that, I work for, it's My Military Savings is my main focus, which is our main clients are active duty military as well as retired reserve guard. Anybody who has access to shop at the commissary and the exchange, because within that, our main focus is to get deals, discounts, coupons, anything that's kind of going on at the exchange or the commissary. We get those deals and discounts out for specific brands, whether that's like, Johnson & Johnson, Kraft, Diageo, different, I don't know, a whole bunch of different brands. There's tons of them. Purina, you name it. We have a bunch of them. So we get those out, and then we have contests, and then we, run, I run the social media, and I run a lot of marketing, event planning, different things like that. But I run our social media. We have pretty much every social media platform that is out there, except for we don't run our Tumblr anymore. We jumped on the bandwagon, just like everybody jumps on the bandwagon when it first comes out, but we do not run it anymore. And it just kind of went under the tube like MySpace. So we don't run that, but we do a lot of different things. We have different programs. We have military spouses that work for us that are stationed all over the world. We have some that are stationed OCONUS, which means outside the United States. And it's a great company. It's fantastic. I've been doing it for almost 5 years. I've been social media for 5 years, but I've been doing marketing for over 15 years.
Woo!
I know. I'm so old.
And no. You definitely brought a breath of just a different take on everything wine related. It's so great that you have family members that are part of the wine industry.
I do.
Yeah. You're in Sacramento, so you're at the heart of wine country. So big thank you for joining the chat. Everybody else, this schedule or this recording will be available on YouTube. Again, big thank you to Cork Envy. We will stay after for a little bit of opening the seat and the live chat. Otherwise, goodbye. See you later.